and we are just going to dive on in. So we are starting something, this is like sort of new, but not, in the sense that we've always had weekly New Coach University calls, but usually, and you guys can still jump in on these, my coach Melanie runs them on Monday afternoons or Monday mornings, depending on what time zone you're in. But what I was noticing is that our team wasn't really plugging into them. And so I love that you guys are more invested with our team. So I wanted to do them every Wednesday evening, and you guys can jump on them, but basically we'll cycle through 4 topics. So the first one was last week, and that was really just kind of an intro to coaching. This week we're going to dive a little bit in more to social media stuff, posting consistently, all of that. Next week we're going to talk about objections and handling conversations, and then the week after that we'll be kind of thinking about wrapping up the month, how to plan ahead for the next month, all of that. And we'll just cycle through these calls. So you are more than welcome to be on all of them, none of them, all of that. But I wanted just to start by sharing the screen. And if you guys have questions as I go, please feel free to chat in the chat bar. And then at the end, I'll be sure to leave some time for questions. I don't want this to take too long. And again, I apologize if you hear bears in the background. That's what my kids are watching right now. So please, please, please feel free to do that. But I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. I made this pretty little presentation for you guys. And so this is what we're going to talk through tonight, is just kind of launching your business. I know for some of you guys, you've been coaches for a while, but are kind of restarting things. Others, this is your very first month. We're going to talk about Success Club, social media, those first conversations, how to get your first challengers, and then kind of what to do to sign them up and all of that. So the very first thing is launching your biz. And so I would love, like, how many of you feel like you actually have launched your business already? And how many of you feel like you still need to do that? Can you type that in the chat bar, or just raise your hand if you can see me? If you have yet to launch your business, raise your hand. You need to post about it. I know, I think Nicole's in that boat, Sonia, Emily. And then I know like Hannah and Mel, like you guys have been around for a while. So Sarah, perfect. Okay. So we're going to talk about a couple different things. And this is one thing that has really changed since I started coaching 4 years ago. When I very first started, we had to post on Facebook 4 to 5 times a day, and that was super overwhelming. And you kind of like could slap up a picture of ugly food and nobody cared, and like could just do the I'm a coach thing. And not that it was easy that people would just sign in, but you didn't have to have kind of the finesse that you do now. So it's changed a little bit. But really the most important thing is that, first of all, people don't know you're a coach. People, and if you are a coach now, people might, but I think sometimes people get this in their head that you have to have like this beach body or have it all together. And the truth is that you don't. You are just sharing your story. As my kids play behind me. You're just sharing what's working for you, the community that you found and loved that's getting you results, and really just helping people alongside that journey. So in our New Coach mentorship, there are, in like the site for it, there's lots of examples of this, but I want you to kind of pick something that feels authentic to you. For some people, they just literally announce like, hey, I'm a coach. Like, I'm so excited. I decided to jump in. I've gotten great results, or I'm loving the results I'm getting. So excited to bring people along the journey. Like, you can do that. That's what I did. I remember posting it at midnight and then crying of like, oh my gosh, what have I done? And I posted it at midnight so no one would see. I mean, that's where my head was at. You can also do it in the sense of just like, hey, people, you're going to see me start to share some of my fitness and accountability journey, because I'm really trying to make changes in my life as I go through, X situation. If you're pregnant, if you are trying to lose weight, like whatever, and just say like, I'm so excited to be sharing this and I'd love the support along the way. And that's kind of a little more subtle. Like, you don't have to be like, I'm a coach. But regardless of the path you pick, you want to make sure that you're consistent with it and you start sharing that. And so as you start to share and have those conversations, you're going to explain what a group is, and we'll talk about all of that. But you're always going to make sure you want to have a start date, and I'll give you that, and kind of give people the next step. So you really do have to launch it. If you don't actually turn that open sign on your shop window, so to speak, nobody's going to know that there's room for you. They might see you posting about your workouts or sharing about your nutrition, but they don't know that there's a spot for them. And so as a new coach, you need to make sure, hold on, she's fine, buddy. You need to make sure that you still post consistently and you're still going to do all these things that I'm going to tell you to do tonight without having all the answers. And if you're relaunching your business, you can even talk about that of like, hey, you guys know I used to be super into this and it's time, I've been making some changes or whatever. Like, you can phrase it, or you can just jump on in. So don't overstress the words, I guess is what I'm thinking. That's what I'm trying to say. And then we're going to start to kind of break down all of these questions. I know that I know there's some girls on this call who are pregnant right now and are like, how can I launch my business or maybe you don't have results yet. So this is what I want to say to you guys if that's your case. Hold on, just one second. Hey, Kayla, I'm so sorry, guys. Out of my room, out. Okay, turn the TV on. I think they'd be happy. Okay, so yeah, watch the bears. If you don't have results or you are pregnant and are just going to get bigger, people love, love, love to be a part of the journey. People love to see you go through those changes, whether you are gaining weight or losing weight. Gaining weight being like positive pregnancy weight. And so if that is you right now, you just share your journey. And when I was pregnant with Paisley, I was still running challenge groups, and I would joke that I was going to get bigger as they got smaller, but you know these programs work. And you know the nutrition works, and you know it's providing a healthy community. So you can absolutely invite to them and share about it. And I'll give you some examples of that. But don't let that be a hamstring for you. Use that as like an advantage. People relate so much more to the journey than they do an airbrushed Victoria's Secret model. That is not attainable. But watching someone go through real life, real struggles, like all of that, that is something that can resonate with people. And in fact, last night I shared that for the first time in months, I skipped my workout and ate ice cream at night, because I want people to know, like, if you become a coach, you don't have to become a health food Nazi. Like, there are times where you are real. We are always real, but you guys know what I'm saying. So you don't have to be perfect. You're just sharing your story. And as people start to connect with that, and I'll show you some examples, you're going to start to explain what a group is and all of those things. And so I want to talk through kind of all of these things, these big questions of like, I'd love to, but does it cost? Or I want to join, or how do I sign up? When I was a new coach, I made the mistake of, if someone was like, yeah, I'm interested, I'd be like, blah, 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 like, here's like word vomit on them. And it's a miracle that anyone wanted to sign up with me. But the most important thing is, first of all, to ask questions. When someone asks, does it cost to join? For instance, like a gal just asked me this yesterday on a post. I said, it does. There's a whole bunch of different options. Let me shoot you over a message and we can chat about it. And then in that message, what I said to her was, hey, what are your goals? I started asking her questions before I ever got to cost. Not because I'm trying to hide everything or because I'm embarrassed about it or I'm concerned. What we have is a phenomenal deal. And if you can't appreciate that, you will soon. But I know that people connect value with their needs. And so as a coach, if I just jump in first and foremost to here's a $160 challenge pack, let me sign you up, here's Shakeology, but I haven't taken the time to get to know, hey, she wants to lose weight because heart disease runs in her family, or, you know, she has her sister's wedding in 3 months and that's a really important thing for her, or what, you know, you fill in the blank. Once people know that you understand where they're at, they're going to be much more open to what you have to offer. And so you have got to get to know them. And it doesn't mean you need to spend 3 months in conversation with them, but don't let the questions panic you. And if you need help, reach out, but build that conversation slowly. So an example of what I would do is, if someone is interested, let's say I invite them, and let's say I'm just looking at Sarah right now. So let's say I invite Sarah. I'm like, hey, Sarah, I'm super excited. You know, thanks for love on my post. And you're like, yeah, I'm really trying to lose weight. Perfect. What I do next is I say, awesome, what goals are you trying to reach? And Sarah says, you know, I'm trying to do whatever, trying to get back in shape again. Awesome. Do you have any like injuries or anything you have to avoid with your nutrition or fitness? And she's like, well, I'm gluten-free. I'm like, perfect. You know, and we're kind of building that. I ask her what types of workouts she likes. So she's like, I hate cardio. I'm not going to recommend Shanti to her. So I kind of get to know her a little bit. And then what I do after that, and you guys don't have to do this right away, but I do have them fill out a form. So in my bio, and this is something that you can absolutely take this and just copy it. I love Google Forms for this reason. But I just kind of tweak it. It's super easy to make. I made this Google form. And again, you can literally copy and paste this into yours. And I break down what they're going to get. And I go over this again in conversation. And then I ask them in here a little bit about themselves. You know, what are you looking to grow in? What are your goals? What is your nutrition like? And this allows me to get their email, because we always want that, but also, oh, that's so funny, but it also allows me to get to know them and for them to feel heard. And so when I email them all the information about what they're going to get, again, we've had these levels of conversation, and the form is really great because if you're busy, which I know most of us are, this really saves you time. You're not having to go back and forth with these all in conversation, but they still feel heard. So what I do is if she's like, yeah, sign me, yes, these are, I hate cardio and I'm trying to lose weight and I'm still interested, I'm like, perfect. Can you take a few minutes to fill out this really quick email, to fill out this really quick form, and I'll email you all, I'll email you all of the details. And then I just want to show you what that email looks like. And again, we have all of these in our team Google Docs, or you can reach out for help, and you don't have to do it this way. But what it looks like is this is what I actually just sent. So this girl, so I say right here, I was like, this is a longer email, but I want to make sure you have all the info. I want to thank you for taking time to contact me. I know it can be scary to share your goals and struggles. So again, I'm relating to where they're at and thanking them for sharing the stuff. Then she was interested in Morning Meltdown. So, and I'll give you all the Google Docs for this, so don't panic on this, but I kind of tell them, like, here's what you're going to do. We're going to start July 29th. She was really nervous. I talk about, hey, here's the meal plan. I break down all the value that they're going to get, which is huge. Like, you're going to get a year streaming to all of this stuff. With the cost, you never pay for my coaching. I'm just reimbursed by the products you purchase, so you're not paying extra for me. I give them a link to the different challenge packs. Again, this is a Google form that I created. But I tell her, I was like, my recommendation is the 190 challenge pack, and here's why. Apparently I forgot to type that in. That's embarrassing. And then I give her the picture so she can actually see what these things are. And then I kind of talk right here of like, I remember right before I was going to make my purchase and join, I was so scared. So I kind of talk through that. So that's an example of that conversation where I guided someone, and she hasn't purchased yet, but it's really those baby steps. And if you're like, I just signed up, I don't even know all this yet, that's what myself or whoever your upline coach is, that's what we're here to do, is to help you with all those conversations so you can absolutely kind of have that like behind the scenes. Like when I was a very brand new coach, I'd be in conversation with one person here, and then I'd be like frantically messaging my coach Melanie being like, okay, she said she hates cardio and she hate, I'm like, what do I say? And she'd be like, okay, here's what you say. And then I'd be like, so you don't have to have all the answers. That's what we're here for. Yeah, Melanie, you don't have to hide the cost. It feels like I'm struggling to hide costs. Yeah. So you don't have to feel like you're hiding it, because it is an amazing deal, guys. A gym membership for an entire year for what people are getting, like, this is amazing. And if you want to go do some research on like what Orange Theory costs or CrossFit costs or things like that, like people get an amazing deal with this, and they get their money back if they don't like it. So that's the first thing. But always, again, like you have to get to know the person and their needs. If they don't feel like you know them or care about them, when you present the cost, it is going to feel spammy and salesy to anybody, because they don't know where you're at and you don't know where they're at. So that's why that conversation is super, super important. So these are some examples of the questions that I like to ask. I gave a few of them, but what are your goals? Are you working out now? What's worked for you in the past? What have they tried that hasn't worked maybe? What's your biggest struggle? If you commit, where would you be 3 months from now? I like to kind of get deeper and think about those things. And so again, reach out for conversation if you need help with that, but don't be afraid to start asking. And one of the biggest things that I see is people become coaches and all of a sudden they forget how to have a conversation. Like, you're a real person and you know how to talk, and the people that you're talking to are real people, and they've probably connected with you for some reason. And so just be yourself. Like, we have all these amazing scripts and examples of conversations, and use them and utilize them. But at the end of the day, they're going to resonate with your story and your journey. And so I'll say like, hey, girlfriend, because that's how I talk. If you don't talk like that, don't say that. But like, just be you and be excited. And when someone can tell that you're excited and you're passionate about what you have to share, that comes through. And I swear, I don't know how, but before I get ready to send these types of conversation emails or whatever, or invites, I will like listen to music. I will go watch transformation stories from Beachbody. I'll read through some emails from clients of mine who've gotten amazing results, or I'll listen to Bon Jovi because that always gets me pumped up, or drink some Energize. Like, I get in the attitude of, oh my gosh, this is such a blessing that I get to not only take care of myself, but I get to share that gift with other people. Like, what a gift. And when you come into it with that mindset, it translates. Everybody doesn't say yes, but you come across as authentic, as genuine, and someone that they're going to circle back around to 3 months from now, a year from now. I can't even tell you guys, the last 2 girls that joined my group are girls that have said no to me a year ago and have been watching me show up every day since. And so I just want to encourage you with that this is something that's a process. And the more you do it, the better it's going to be and the easier it's going to get. Do you guys have questions on that at all? You want a beach bar? I'm going to bribe my kids with beach bars right now. We'll keep them quiet. If you guys haven't tried these, they're so good. Also, my kids are obsessed with them, and I like them because they're like healthy. No, you just have that one right now. Have that one first, and then you can have the other one. Questions on that at all? No? Okay. So Success Club, and again, for some of you guys who have been around a little bit, this is not new news, but I just want to cover it briefly. One of the beauties of Beachbody is that there are no requirements in the sense that you can build this business however you want to build it. And we have coaches on our team who literally just are a part of our team because they love the community and want a discount. And there are coaches on a team who want to make $1 million and everybody in between. So you can fall into whatever camp and you can move camps and that's fine. But if you're serious about actually growing in income and are like, I really want to use this to provide for my family, or you have goals to pay off debt or things like that, Success Club is going to be your non-negotiable bare minimum. And what that is that is 3 new customers or new coaches a month. That's connecting with 3 people. And guys, you have 30 days to do that. So it's really not like, I don't want to say it's easy because it takes consistent work, but it's not hard in the grand scheme of things. And so this for you, if you're like, yes, I want to build income growth, this is going to be your benchmark because it is going to cover the cost of all of your products and then some for the month. So you're going to not only break even, but you'll also start to get some income. And then on top of it, you're going to start qualifying for rewards that Beachbody has out, like Success Club trips. You're going to start qualifying for, if you are a brand new coach and if you hit Success Club, so 3 new people, 3 consecutive months out of your first 4, you earn a free ticket to Summit. So what you just saw us all at, like you get to go to that for free. There's just a lot of things that come in with that. And so it's one of those things that, again, it's just going to be your non-negotiable. And for me, I have never missed Success Club. But there have absolutely been seasons in my business where one month I had my mom buy some beach bars and another month I had my sister buy some Hydrate. Like I have had, like, it's not been just like people are flocking to my doorstep, but because I've made it a non-negotiable, it's helped me keep the momentum to keep my business growing. And so when I was a brand new coach, my very first customers were a friend from college, a coworker, and a friend of my mom's. Because I hadn't had huge results. I didn't have a lot to share, but I was really excited about it. And I just jumped in. They were not my cold market. I've had to grow that over time, but they were the people who knew, liked, and trusted me. The people who would be kind of like on your dirt list, so to speak, who would buy dirt from you. Those were my first customers. And those were the ones who I came to and was like, hey, I'm so excited to do this. Do you want to do it with me? So we'll come back to kind of talking about this, but I want to come right now to social media because this is, I think, the big one. Raise your hand if social media intimidates you. Okay, or type in yes. Or if you feel like you've got, yeah, Sarah's like, oh, there's a little hand right. That's cool. I didn't even know you could raise your hand on here. Okay. So guys, social media was something that I did not really use before I became a coach. I was the queen of the stalking on both Facebook and Instagram, and I would maybe post an update every 3 months. Hey, Caleb, please don't do that. Thank you. But I have come to love social media because of this. Because everybody, when we were little, I would think most people, want to make an impact and want to matter and want to have a voice. And we have this amazing tool with Instagram or with Facebook or YouTube or however you want to utilize it to have a voice and have a voice that can bring light. And yeah, it gets a bad rap for a lot of reasons and people use it for crummy stuff, but also think about having your own little corner of the world where you can share your heart and you can bring light and encouragement. And I can't even tell you, I've gotten messages from people who will never sign up with me as a customer or a coach, but who've been encouraged by devotional that I shared, or have wanted to attend church a little bit more because faith, faith is a big part of my brand. Like, I share about that. And that means so much more to me, honestly, than any sale I could ever make, knowing that I'm making an impact. And so I want you to get into your head, first and foremost, that you are not defined by the likes or the followers that you have. Those stupid little hearts and that number that drops up and down does not define your worth. It does not define your value. It does not define your voice, okay? It is a platform for building your business. It is a platform for adding value, and it is a platform to share your story. Your story is going to be unlike anyone else's. And I know a few of your guys' stories, and the few of you that I know on this call have incredibly powerful ones. Hard things that you've been through, super interesting things that you go a part of. I'm thinking of like Nicole, who's on this call right now. They travel all the time. Like, how cool is that? But also hard when you're trying to juggle fitness. I know we've got single moms on this call. I know we have crazy, we've photographers. Like, there's a lot of unique things that each of you bring. And social media is going to be your platform to do that and to share. So you've got to get over the fear, and you have got to give yourself the grace to learn it. I could show you guys, let me see here if I can find it. I was like dying. I should have screenshotted it here, but Facebook memories are my fave. Hey, Caleb, do not chase your sister. And it kills me because I've had 4 years now of being active. And oh my gosh. Yeah, guys, look at this. This, what a horrific social media post is this. I was super proud of myself, I remember, because I figured out how to do these cool little circle things with the picture inserts. And I was like, oh man, I'm so good. Horrible. All the stuff you're not supposed to do. I was talking about the workouts, but it was these branded pictures. There's nothing about me on there. So bad. So that is not going to connect with people. But what people do resonate with is, seeing you. I had no makeup on here. We had just waken up, Paisley beating Ben's head. And I'm talking about day 2 of my workout program. I'm kind of jabbing the workout, but I'm also talking about, gosh, here's some encouragement for you and adding value. So that is what we're about, not about being branded, ugly Beachbody ads. So to kind of break it down for you guys a little bit simply, I started on Facebook, but I prefer Instagram now for my business. And I would recommend as a new coach that you choose one or the other to start with. You can absolutely learn to grow both, but it can be overwhelming to do both. So currently, I actually prefer Instagram. So I gear my photos and I gear my captions for Instagram, and I just copy them over to Facebook. So you're going to want to focus on one post a day that's quality. And I like to think of my post as being kind of the magazine, in sense that it's going to draw people in. So it's going to be an image that's light, bright, and eye-catching. If it's an image that's not, maybe you're talking about your lunch, but it's not the greatest picture, that's going to go in your stories. But your feed is going to be things that are going to draw people and make people want to click read more. And so I always think about it as more of the catalog. And then my stories are as the hot mess Kardashian life, where it's just anything goes and who knows what you're going to see there. So I try to focus on one post a day that's quality, and then 5 to 15 stories a day. You don't have to start out with that many, but just documenting your life. So maybe sharing a couple clips of your workouts or of your food or of your kids or your dog or, your photography, just adding that, letting people see the behind the scenes with you, and always making sure that you're referencing what you're doing as a coach or your group, or, we'll talk about that a little bit more. But it's really important that you add value and that you give more than you ask. So thinking through, did my post encourage, affirm, educate? Did it make someone laugh? Was it something that was inspiring? Think about how you can add value in those areas instead of just being a so what post, meaning, okay, here's my sweaty selfie. I did my workout. I feel so what? But if I'm oh my gosh, Paisley was up all night again. And it was so hard of me to push play on this workout, but I knew that when I did, my attitude would be turned around because I'd get a check-in with the gals in my group, and they would make, I would have that community to hold me better. I can't even talk right now. To hold me accountable, and I'm going to be that mom that's a happier mom for my kids. That's adding value. That's saying okay, gosh, last night was super hard. I showed up anyways. It's encouraging. So kind of thinking through when you're posting, what is the message that you're trying to get across there? I personally really like the app called Plan. It's free. Actually, I use the paid version, and I can't remember why. But there's a valid reason, but you can have the free version. And it looks like this, it's blue. And you can actually pre-upload all of your posts, and you can write your captions. So if you're super, super busy, this could be a really good tool for you, and I can show you a better version of it later, but this is what that looks like. I definitely recommend it. You're going to want to grow your following. So while I just said numbers don't define you, they don't define your worth, but this is a business and you need to connect with more people. So try to go through and find 10 to 20, if you're on Instagram, 10 to 20 new followers every day. And those can come from looking at locations. They can come from looking at hashtags. We dive into this a lot more in depth in our new coach mentorship. So I just want to kind of reference it. And then your bio matters. So if you go and look at my bio, this is going to be one of the first things that people look at. And I'd encourage you to give yours a look as well. I talk about, okay, people are going to know who's this chick Abby about. Okay, she's a wife, she's a mom, faith is important to her. She went from higher education to working at home. She's into, postpartum fitness. And then I have my link here where it is actually the link to where people can see all of these other options. So this is something you can't just put like links to anything in your Instagram feed. They won't show up. So you have to have it linked. And so Linktree is a really great way to do it. But I kind of break down like, here's who I am. So give yourself a critical look over and see like, what is important to you? Is it your parenthood? Is it, that you love, and you can kind of go look at other coaches. Melanie Mitro, Boy Mom, she's the chic influencer. So she talks about her podcast. She's a business mentor. So I know, okay, if I don't know who this gal is, this is what she's about. I could look at Amy Silverman, who's an entirely different type of coach. She's a plant lady. She is she struggled with alcoholism. She's married. She likes her animals. She helps women build a life around wellness. So it kind of just gives you a little blurb of who you're about and what people could expect from you guys. Kate, teacher turned business owner, personally victimized by Target. I think that's hilarious. Empowering others to live a fitish life. Come hang, and she directs you to her big link. So just think about as you're setting up your Instagram profile that you need to have things in your bio, because that's going to be the very, very, very first thing that people see. Then most likely they're going to scroll through your feed and click on the very first few things. So I always try to make sure, and Kate does a really good job with this actually, that I have a transformation photo somewhere in my top 12, because I want it to catch people's eye that they know I'm about health and fitness. You don't do the same pose, but have it be, she has great lighting, all of that. So that is the very first thing. And then give yourself kind of a plan. So this would be an example. You don't have to do this, but if you're just going to have one post a day, thinking through, okay, if you don't have a plan, you're just going to be throwing spaghetti noodles at a wall and your business isn't going to grow. So thinking through, okay, Monday could be inspiration. Tuesday, I could share my transformation, or if you don't have one, share another gal on our teams, or talk about it doesn't have to be physical. It could be your mental transformation or your emotional like any transformation. The fact that you are on social media and you're terrified of it can be a transformation. Wednesday, adding value. So maybe a recipe or a healthy tip, or how do you grocery shop or meal prep, or, whatever, you name it, you can add value there. Thursday, talking about the business. This is going to be the fastest way to grow your business, and it's something that I did not do well as a brand new coach because I was scared to talk about it. But just talking right now about how coaching is filling your cup. Friday, it could be a Flex Friday and talking about, growth and confidence, or maybe your food again. Saturdays and Sundays on the weekend, they're a little bit more of a freebie. But no stock photos like I did in that post I showed you guys. No Beachbody lingo. People are connecting with you. They can go buy Beachbody on Amazon, but they're going to connect with me because they heard me in this post talk about the fact that, yeah, I can flex and look like I have a six-pack, but I've had 2 kids and 4 pregnancies and I have a heck of a lot of crazy loose skin happening, and I'm relating to moms who are struggling with that. I'm sharing a healthy muffin recipe, and I actually said, go to my stories. I dropped the link in there, and I gave them that, just giving them that for free. I'm talking about my husband and how I appreciate that he supports me. Like, people are starting to get to know me. In this picture, I talk about, number 1, that I fit into these jeans again, which is a big win, but number 2, I'm a huge klutz and spill everything on white pants. So what is your favorite stain removers? And asking for feedback. So they're again like, oh my gosh, I never wear white either. I totally get it. So you're relating to people and connecting with them by your story. but give yourself a little outline if you need it, just because that will help you feel like you know what you're doing. My favorite apps for stuff are Lightroom. Lightroom is free on your phone, and then I use a preset that I purchased to actually give most of my photos, just kind of lighten them up a little bit and give them a super, it's not like the most, like there's feeds out there that are crazy cohesive, but it gives it a more cohesive look. And I would think about, just as a tip for you on this, what you like. If you're like, what stops your scroll? Are you super attracted to like black and white only, or there's this like super blogger-y kind of like orange glow? Some of you guys might have seen that. Do you like really minimal stuff? Like, think about what attracts you and try to emulate that, and because that's gonna be what you're following, what your followers like to see. I personally kind of like it to be light and bright, but I don't have a super white house. My house is actually pretty dark in terms of the lighting, and so I have to get creative with how I utilize it. So I don't have a lot of like staged light photos. It's a lot more stuff outside or utilizing what I have. And then with presets, you can actually go onto Etsy and you can buy them for like $5. I don't have permission. I don't know what's happening here. Hold on. But if you just go search presets on Etsy, I mean, you're going to find tons. They're like $4, $5. They're super, super easy. I actually used, I got a pack of presets. I got mine from Jenna Kutcher, and she had a pack of like, I think 6. So you go to her link tree, it's in here. So if you want to use the ones that I use, you could totally do that. I don't know how to use, I don't know. Go. We can find it on your phone. I'm not sure what's happening here, but you get it. You can kind of poke around and find presets, but that really helps. Layout is how I do these side-by-side ones for transformation. So those are really great if you're doing any sort of thing that's side-by-side. The Unfold app is how I do the stories. If you guys ever watch and there's like a lot of white on the stories with like text, those ones are amazing for storytelling, and it actually saves your stories. So you can go in and just swap out the picture or edit the wording a little bit, but once it's created, it's just there, which is awesome. Saves you a ton of time. Mojo does really fun videos. WordSwag does cool fonts. Snapseed and Foodie, I don't personally use these ones a ton, but I have friends who love them, and they're, again, more like photo editing things. So those are just some like practical little tips for you. Do you guys have any questions on the social media side before we jump into talking about more conversations at all? I know I kind of went through that fast, but is there anything that would be helpful for you guys to know? No, we're not having jam. Sorry, I'm like so distracted tonight because no, you don't need another one. Go watch the Bears. You guys are kids, you guys get it. Okay, so moving on. We're gonna talk invites, and I touched on this a little bit, but you have to get in number one, the right mindset. And your business is not going to grow if you don't do this. It is hands down everybody's least favorite. Do you make your posts in advance? You can have one more. That's all you're going to have. Actually, you can have this one. You can have this. Sorry, guys. So, Sarah, I do a mix. When I was very first starting as a brand new coach, I was working. I just gave you one. Go sit down, please. I'm sorry, guys. This is my life. That's why I'm not the top coach in Beachbody. Okay. When I was a brand new coach, I was working full time, and Caleb was a toddler, and Ben was gone nights and weekends. So we didn't have time. So what I did is I would actually pre-write my posts. It was before all these cool apps. So I would write them in the notes section of my phone, and I would, you're fine. I would take photos the weekend, and I would do like, I'd switch my shirts out, or if I had a little bit extra time during a workout, like I would just kind of stock up on photos, because they don't have to be real time. In your posts, they don't have to be real. Like the one I posted tonight, I took 2 months ago in May of Paisley, and I just really liked it and hadn't used it yet. So I would pre-write them and schedule them, and that would save me time. Right now, I don't pre-write all of them necessarily, but I kind of know a theme of what I want. Like I know what I'm talking about. And the more I've done this, 4 years in, the easier it has gotten. It took me a solid 6 months of posting every single day, multiple times a day, because we had to do that way back then. A solid 6 months of that before I felt like I kind of found my voice. But I get a lot of inspiration now from my personal development reading, or kind of what I heard her say in a workout. A lot of it is posts that I actually wrote years ago, and now I have the benefit of 4 years of Facebook archives to pull from. Like, man, I was on fire last year. That was great. I'm totally reusing that post. So you got to give yourself the grace, but definitely kind of think and have a plan of what you're going to post. And you're going to have posts that just bomb. I can post a picture of my kids and it'll get all the likes. I can post a picture of a challenge group or coaching, and the only people who like it are like you guys. But people are watching, so you can't get discouraged by the feedback there. I do calls to action on my posts. So I will do like, click the link in my bio for more info, or drop a comment below, or, you know, go ahead to my stories. Like, I will direct people with what I want them to do, but I make sure that not every single post is a call to action that's like a super salesy, for lack of a better word. So 20% of your content needs to be inviting, and 80% of your content needs to be giving. Meaning, if I know I want to do one really strong call to action post on a Sunday night about my group starting, then the other posts that week are going to be adding value. They're going to be jabbing about my challenge group. I might be talking about how I'm so excited to share this recipe in my challenge group, but I'm going to give them a little sneak peek on Instagram, and here it is. Like, but it's not like a hard call to action. So it's kind of a mix. You kind of have to blend it in there. But in my stories every day, I do calls to action. I'm like, click this poll, drop your email, send me a message. Like, it's mixed into all of that. So hopefully that helps. But you want to daily invite 3 people. That needs to be your absolute minimum, okay? Because, this is not to scare you, but it's just the truth, is I know that every 10 people that I invite, probably only 2 or 3 will say yes. The other ones won't see them, or they'll ignore it, or they'll say no, or they'll forget to respond. And so I know, just with the numbers game, the way that it is, that it has to be like that. And here's how I think about invites. Is I could be posting all about the birthday party that I'm planning for Paisley. Now it's going to be Minnie Mouse, and it's going to be so cute, and here's like the decorations I found on Etsy, and I ordered this cake and all this stuff. And I'm just getting all excited, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the cutest party ever. And I'll post on there like, hey, anyone show up? The party's at 3 at our house. Well, I don't think you're going to show up, because I didn't extend the invite to you. You didn't feel like I specifically wanted you or valued you or needed you there. That is how you need to think about this opportunity. Is you're sharing and you're posting and you're talking about it and you're excited about it, but people may not realize that there's a spot for them and that you genuinely care about them enough to invite them. And that is the attitude and the heart that you need to have behind your invites. So you have to be bold, you have to be excited about it, you have to use the resources that we have for you, and ask for help when you need it. Hold on, I'm sorry. Hey, Caleb, do not growl at your sister. Hey, buddy, look at me. I'm going to have to talk to Dad if you do it one more time. Okay, sorry. So use the scripts and don't overthink it. Literally just send the invite. So an example of what I do. No, you need to sit down on the couch, please. Caleb, what did I just say? Caleb, I'm sorry, guys. What did I just say? No. Sorry. They're like animals. I love them so much. I'm having mom brain. So an example of what I would do for an invite is if someone was watching my post or liked my post that was a call to action or something that referenced my challenge group or boot camp, I might reach out to them and say like, hey, Sarah, thank you so much for the love on my post. I really appreciate the support. It means so much to me. Are you interested in learning more about what I do as a coach? I actually have another group starting soon. Like casual, creating that community. So I have some examples for you right here. And again, we have tons of these. I'll show you where they are. But this could be for a newer coach if you were just starting and you didn't really have a lot of results. It could be like, hey, I just joined an accountability group for Beachbody called 100 Morning Meltdown. I'm so excited for these workouts. They're super short and effective, and the community has been amazing. I found my coach on Instagram, and her results have been so good. Would you want to do this with me? I would love to have the accountability, and we could totally keep each other on track in the group and through text. Would you be interested? That's worded like you're talking to your best friend, because you probably are. Again, the people who are going to connect with you first are the people who know, like, and trust you. So that's not you being like, I'm a coach, join my team. That's you saying like, hey, I would love the support and the accountability. Could we do this together? I don't think that feels pressury or salesy. And someone who hears your voice in that is not, and you can even do voice messages. I love doing voice messages because they can hear your tone. Here's another one where it's kind of talking about being a coach. Forget to put the Z in there, but I turned it into a biz. I'd love to have you be my very first customer and testimonial. Would you be interested? If someone already knows you're super into health and fitness. People watching your stories. I always thank people for watching my stories. It's always just a hot mess. And people love that. People love seeing the real you. So if your kids are going crazy in the background when you're recording it, don't re-record it. If your laundry pile's behind you, don't go hide it. Like, people, it's nice for people to know that other people have hot mess lives too, and that they're not perfect, and that they can still show up. Because if they can see you in the middle of your mess and your real life, and you're still making time for yourself or growing a business or doing these things, it's going to empower them to do the same. So I'm very, very real on social media for that reason. So this is one that I send all the time, like, hey, Melissa, thanks for taking a moment to follow my stories. Life's a hot mess some days, so I can get really real in here, but that's real life. Do you follow me for faith, fitness, my fam, or interested in what I do as a coach? I always love knowing how I can serve better. This one is great because it opens the door to conversations where oftentimes people are like, yeah, I always think people are going to say they follow me for a family because my kids are cute, but they're like, oh, I'm totally following you for fitness motivation. And then it's like, oh, cool, what are you doing? I'm trying to lose a baby weight and I've been pinning workouts on Pinterest. Like, that is how it starts. Hey, Caleb. I said, no, please go sit. Hey, buddy, Mama, what?
Paisley had two.
No, Paisley had one. She broke it in half. Please go sit down on the couch. Hey, Caleb. I said no. So hold on, guys. Okay, sorry. So those are conversations. Does this help take the fear away from inviting, or do you guys have questions on this at all? Anyone? You guys good? Okay. Or if you have questions, type them in. So here are my top tips for success, and I'll wrap this up. But they sound cheesy, but they're really true. Who you surround yourself with. There's that famous quote that you're the sum value of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So if you're surrounded by people who are telling you that this is dumb or that you're not going to succeed or all of that, like, you're going to start to self-doubt. So plug in with people who bring you up, who lift you up, who encourage you to do better. Whether that's our team, whether that's your mom, your best friend, find the people who are going to help you grow, because you want to turn into the kind of person that helps other people grow, okay? Developing a morning routine is everything, and I've been a horrible example of that lately just because of the way life has been with my kids, but I will tell you that that is where you're going to find your time. If you're someone who's busy, fighting for your mornings is going to make all the difference in the world, and I hate working late at night. Right now, kind of that's what I've been doing, but I told them the other day, like, I got to get up. I'd rather wake up at 4 and work than work at 10 p.m. on the couch, because my brain, it's just such a big difference. But whether that is, for me, it's on an ideal day, my baby has slept, it is, if I could wake up at 5, do 20 minutes of devotions and mindset work, go push play on my workout, check in with my challenge groups, send my 5 invites for the day, then I'm like, the most important things of my day are done. I've done personal development, I've done my workout, and I've done my invites. And anything else, like, those are going to be the things that move my business forward. And I'll have content to share in my posts and stories because I worked out and I filled my mind and I filled my cup. So anything else that happens through the rest of the day, it's just icing on the cake. But that morning time for you is going to be super, super key. And if you're not a morning person, you can become one, but make sure you're finding that time in there. Hold on just one second. I'm so sorry, guys. Mom in Israel today. Like I said, Ben's usually home right now. If someone doesn't respond to you reaching out, how long do you wait to reach out again? Or do you wait and hope that they come to you? So if someone doesn't, I usually give them 2 to 3 days. It's always awkward when you can see that they've seen it and they haven't responded. So I just am like, dude, just respond. But I know I forget to respond to stuff all the time because I have mom brain. It's a very real thing. So usually I'll just say, like, hey, Sarah, just swinging back around. Don't know if you saw my last message. I know you did. But like, just swinging back around. I'm getting everything set. I would love to save you a spot if you have questions at all or something like that. I have a whole document of follow-ups. I'll show you where they are that you can use. But I usually give them a couple days. And if they still haven't responded after 2 times of me doing that, I let it go. And I just say, like, hey, it may not be for you, but just know I'm here for you if and when you're ever ready. So that's kind of, I don't take it personally, but I do make sure, like, the money is in the follow-up, meaning, like, there's this girl from Beauty Counter that I've been meaning to buy mascara from for probably 6 months because she reached out to me and told me. And I'm like, yeah, I want to do it. I can guarantee you, if she would follow up with me, I would do it, but I keep forgetting. I should go buy it right now, so I'm thinking about it. But I keep forgetting to buy it. It's nothing against her. I literally just, it's not the top of my priority, so I just keep forgetting about it. So know that people are the same. Their lives are busy. You are not their number one priority, shocker. And so you're going to have to kind of take the initiative to follow up. Hey, Caleb, you need to go play in your room, please. Right now, go play in your room. Because you keep growling at your sister, I've asked you 5 times not to. Hey, Caleb. Hold on just one second, guys. Okay, sorry. So that is what I do with follow-ups. And then with free groups and stuff like that, I saw Sonia, you asked me about that. So definitely you can do your own. I have a free community. I'm really bad about using it, but you can absolutely set up like a little free Facebook group. I have scripts for all of these things. I'll show you guys where they are, and we'll kind of talk about what to invite to next. But your morning routine, getting clear on the life you want to create. I know this sounds cheesy, but one of the biggest things that, and I'm not going to try not to cry, but that coaching has done for me, and it has taught me to dream big. And every day that I didn't want to send an invite, or I was really tired, or felt like I was uninspired, or that nobody cared about what I had to say, I would think about that little blonde boy just got sent to his room to play Legos and quiet. But I'd think about him walking into daycare with his backpack that was too big, and how he was that kid who caught everything that ever got brought into daycare. And how I couldn't take my time off work, and I loved my job. But I thought about, man, what would it look like for me to be able to work when I wanted to work? To still have something that filled my cup, but I could be present with him, and I didn't have to check my schedule 5 months in advance. And I thought about that. And guys, it happened. It took 2.5 years, but it happened. And now I know kind of where I want. So think about, like, what would your life, like, if time and resources were not a hindrance for you, what would your life look like? And I'm not going to say that it's going to happen in 2 years for you, but it's really important that you start to visualize what your goals are. Otherwise, you're just going to flounder and not feel like you even know what you're trying to pursue. And it will feel like it's everybody else telling you what success is, as opposed to you defining it for yourself and for your family. Energy is the secret to success. This one is big for me. I don't know if you guys do the Enneagram at all. I love the Enneagram. We were trained on it like years ago at work. And for me, I'm an Enneagram 3, which is like super motivated, super goal driven. And like the negative side of it is when I feel overwhelmed, I just stop. Like I literally do nothing and I become an overwhelmed slug. And so for me, when I feel like that, the very first thing that I do, even though I don't want to, is I take action. Because I know I have got to take action to get the ball rolling, whether that's going and pushing plan a workout, looking at my to-do list and doing the very first thing that's on it, because action starts to breed success. And you have to start taking that step before you're ready, before you have the answers. The post may suck. Your workout might suck. It's better to do that than nothing. Learning to master your time is super important. Not making excuses for the dreams that you have. Like, again, it's nobody's right to define that. Leading with a servant's heart. What we have is a gift, guys, and being able to utilize that and know, again, you are here to serve others, whether that's through fitness, whether that's through nutrition, whether that's just someone stumbling on her page and going, oh my gosh, she's going through this too. And look at where she's at now, and look at how she's choosing to show up for her life in spite of those things. Don't judge anybody. I can tell you, I can think of like 5 girls right off the top of my head that I was sure would never join my challenge group. So I never invited them. They're all coaches now, guys, with other people. Lesson on me. That was on me. I judged them hardcore. I thought I knew where they stood. And man, I would love to have them on my team, but it was such a good learning lesson for me. Don't compare yourself. This is the hardest. It is so easy to look around and be like, well, she has this, or we started at the same time, but I'm here. No, your story is your story. And God gave it to you for a purpose, and you are called to live into that and to absolutely push hard towards goals and work, use people to motivate you, but don't let someone else's success define your worth. Work with the working, not the willing. I wasted a ton of time as a new coach working with the who never responded, or who said they were going to and never did, or the new coaches on my team who did nothing. No, you work with the people who are active. Don't waste your time. Manage your time well. And we'll just wrap up with a little bit here. I just want to talk about personal development really fast. These are 2 books if you have not read them yet. Definitely, The Slight Edge and The Compound Effect are 2 books start. You can listen to them on Audible or read them, but they're going to give you motivation. They're going to give you knowledge. They're going to give you content. That's super, super important. Trainings, I just want to show you guys in our new coach training. Just want to do a couple things here. And we're going to go over this as well. I don't know why my computer's giving me all the notifications all of a sudden. But there's two things that I want you guys to see. The first thing is the Beachbody Champions. And so this one is for Beachbody as a whole. You can request to join it. And it is awesome. The trainings in there are, Heather did a really amazing one because she works full time, like all managing her time and all of that. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here on, like you can literally type in running a free group and it will give you all their best tips and all of that. But in the section here, there's a whole section for new coaches. And it's really amazing. And it tells you how do you share, how do you send links for someone to order, how to invite. Like there's some really, really good stuff in here. And also in our new coach mentorship, my view looks a little different than your guys' view, but we talk about right in here, creating your custom link. All of that right here for you and how to actually send those out. So that's right there. You're going to want to offer the discount right away from the start as a coach to invite people to coach, and I will help you with that. So please reach out to your upline, having conversations with people. And then these are your very first goals this month. So I would recommend looking at trying to connect with 3 people to join you, whether they're interested in the business or interested in fitness by the 25th in 12 days from now. I would also make sure if you're married to sign up your spouse or your parent. Ignore the toddler behind me, for Emerald. And again, we talk about this in new coaching. I'm trying to keep this short tonight because my kids are fading fast. But success starters is super, super key. And so we'll talk about that. But what I would recommend inviting to is focusing on inviting to our morning meltdown challenge group. So you don't have to, but my next challenge group is starting on, I'll pull my calendar. It's starting on the 29th. And my prep week for it is starting on the 22nd, meaning our workouts are going to start the 29th. And on the 22nd, I'm going to have everybody kind of just getting familiar with the program. So that gives you guys 2 weeks to start talking about how excited you are for these workouts, to start talking about how excited you are for, you know, if you're not doing morning meltdown, you can connect with me about what to invite to, but you can start sharing about it and inviting it and getting people plugged in. So you don't have to lead the group. You don't have to do anything. You're just inviting people to kind of join with you for accountability purposes. And you're going to be a coach mentor, meaning I'm going to kind of work with you behind the scenes on what I'm doing in the challenge group so you can kind of see and learn and then start your own. If you want to just start your own, that's totally fine. And you can do that too. We have, and this is linked in our team page. This is linked all over the place. It's linked in New Coach Mentorship and everything like that. But we have a whole Google Docs. I'm typing and I can't see this on here really quick. Yeah. So in our team Google Docs, you're going to hear it referenced a ton. Can't even, I'm going to go this way. Sorry. Actually, I'm going to go through it. I want to show you where it is in case you forget it. So if you go to our team page, and again, not all of you are added in here yet, but I will get you guys added. If you go to the file section, you're going to see important links and info. And everything that I've shown you is in there. And so right in here is like their team pages and the team Google Docs. So I just want to show you guys before we wrap up what this is. I'm going to go with my husband's room. So for the last like 2 minutes of this call, I'm going to go in a different room so I can at least not be distracted. Okay. So in here, guys, are everything you need to know. If you are struggling with social media, there is an entire folder of social media tips and tricks. It's sorted out by, my internet's going to be slow, but by Instagram or Facebook. There's all of that. There's an entire section in here, my internet is being slow, of apps, things like that, how to talk about the business. There's sections in this coach resources part right here with power hours if you don't know what to do with your time. And we talk about the business activity tracker. That's what you really need to be focusing on every single week. If you're looking for trainings, taxes, all sorts of stuff. It is in here. But if you're looking for challenge group, there's all sorts of stuff in here. These are all challenge group scripts that are already put together that have literally everything, and you can tweak the pictures or the wording if you want to, but literally everything is done for you, and all you have to do is copy and paste. So we really share our resources together. But for this first month of being a coach, you really just get a partner with me. I get to help you. So you can use all those things. I want you to know they're there, but you don't have to do it all yourself. So just remember your why. It sounds super corny, but don't overthink it. Just wash, rinse, and repeat the daily activities. That business activity tracker, if you guys, I have it literally saved on my computer. I was supposed to have it in this presentation, but I didn't. But it tells you, add 3 people, make 3 posts, start new 3 conversations. Like, it literally tells you exactly what to do every single day. And that is in your Coach Online office. And I'll just show you, because each of you should print out at least 1 copy of this tonight, or you can have it on a PDF, but it walks you through exactly what to do. And what's really important to know, if you go to training and then Success Club system, it's right here, and it's beautiful glory right here. This is what I do every single day for my business. There's no secret sauce. I literally do conversations for 20 minutes. I do a social media post. Here are some Instagram story ideas. Like, this is the secret sauce right here. But every single thing that I did in this business, I did before I was ready. And I would spend some time at night after the kids went to bed watching a training video or looking something up on YouTube. But the most important thing is knowing your goals and your vision for this business and what you want it to be about, and taking action on that every single day. So that's my life. Yeah. So I don't want to take any more of your guys' time. We're going to talk next week about kind of objections as you guys get into these conversations, what that looks like. But like I said, in the new Coach Thinkific site, which all of you should have the link to, it's broken out by 2 weeks, and you can go through them at your own pace. But all of these things are in here. How to come out as a coach is in here. I'll just share this really quick with you guys. So you can see overcoming objections, inviting. All of this is actually in here broken down. And so then in our little Challenge Tracker app group, if you're in that, if you're not in that and want to be, definitely let me know. But we're going to kind of be talking about that in there. So do you guys have any more questions for tonight? I know I threw a ton of info at you, but is there things that you have questions on? You're like, this is confusing, you feel overwhelmed, where you can, anything? You guys are good? Okay. Well, I'll let you go. I'm so thankful you guys took an hour. I'm so sorry for being a distracted mom tonight, but this is real life. As we do this business around our lives, around our families, like, that is the priority, and that's the beauty of it. So I will let you guys go. I hope you have an amazing Wednesday, and I'll post the recording. Definitely feel free to reach out to me directly if you have questions, and I'll definitely be following up with you guys too, okay? Bye.